participated in a political protest of some manner? Okay, well, how many of you have sympathized with some sort of movement for change in any way? There's the kicker. On April 22nd, The Atlantic reported that over 100,000 people across all 7 continents participated in 600 March for Science events. Many of these protesters were scientists, a historically nonpartisan group, but they were drawn out to protest elected officials' denial of scientific fact and to foster debate in our community about the dangers of science denial. We must first examine the methods used and then the goals of these nationwide protests. First, what occurred at these protests? In Washington, D.C., on a rainy Saturday morning, tens of thousands of people showed up to protest these elected officials and to speak out for science. These protesters were there with signs and loud voices demanding their government acknowledge scientific fact. These signs had things such as, "No science, no beer." "Got the plague? Me neither. Thanks, science." Or my personal favorite, "Dear climate, you've changed." Protesters showed up for speeches from respected public figures and scientific figures as well. Some of these are more well-known scientists, such as Bill Nye, the Science Guy, or Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. But one of the most impactful speakers was Dr. Nancy Roman, the chief of NASA's Astronomy and Relativity Program. So what were the goals of these speakers and these protesters? The core principles of the march were detailed on the main page of the website as evidence-based policy and public research and funding for scientific research. However, many of the marchers protested specific elected officials, such as Betsy DeVos, our current Department of Education, Secretary of Education, or Scott Pruitt, the current head of the EPA, for their infuriated by their efforts to counteract scientific facts. The rallying cry of this march seemed to be science for the common good, or science, not silence, speaking out and trying to get our officials and our government to take action on environmental dilemmas before it's too late. An important takeaway from this whole thing was that it was meant to be a nonpartisan march for scientific advancement, not meant to be a partisan slander on the other side. To wrap this up, will this march have any sort of effect on our elected officials? The answer to that is still unknown, yet it can be assumed that many in office may be reluctant to change their views, even in the face of factual evidence. However, in looking at the methods and motives of the march, I think we can get a better understanding of the reasoning of the participants. Thank you.